Okay, so you're probably here because, well, you've felt it too, right?
Yeah.
December 10th, 2024, the internet kind of had a mini meltdown. Instagram went down.
It did.
And the whole digital world, it felt like everyone was holding their breath.
Yeah.
So we're going on a deep dive today into a mountain of data.
Okay.
We've got to map out how everyone reacted and get this. We're going to do it.
Right.
With a little reggaeton twist.
I'm here for it.
Don't worry, though.
Yeah.
We've got an expert guide with us to, decipher all the trends and outages and the...
Absolutely. Yeah. I think the internet's reaction to this whole thing was almost as fascinating
Oh, totally.
as the outage itself.
It wasn't just a couple people complaining. This was a full-on, ay caramba moment. You know, Google Trends just lit up like a Times Square billboard.
Sure.
With searches for, is Instagram down? Instagram down right now?
Uh-huh.
Thousands upon thousands of people all hitting that search button at once.
Yeah.
I mean, what does that tell us?
Well, I think it reveals a lot about how dependent we are on these platforms.
Yeah.
It's not just about sharing selfies anymore. You know, Instagram, it's a lifeline for businesses, a source for news, a way to connect with friends and family.
Oh, yeah.
Even a platform for activism.
Totally.
So when that connection's severed, people really feel it.
They do.
And they turn to search engines immediately for answers, reassurance, and I think almost a sense of community.
That's interesting.
In their digital distress.
Yeah, it is. And you know, speaking of that community, Down Detector was trending too.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Which I thought was interesting. It's in the midst of the digital darkness, everyone's looking for that little beacon of confirmation.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think Down Detector's popularity during outages shows that people, they need validation. We want to know if it's them, if it's on their end, or if it's a wider issue.
Exactly.
There's almost a sense of relief when they see that others are experiencing the same thing.
Right. But then it gets even more interesting because searches related to Facebook also spiked.
Oh, yeah.
Facebook down. Facebook is down. Facebook and Instagram down today.
Yeah.
It's like this chorus echoing the Instagram woes.
Well, it makes sense, right? Because they're both owned by Meta.
Right.
So simultaneous outages aren't unusual.
Uh-huh.
But what I think is fascinating is how people phrase their searches.
Oh, yeah.
It's almost as if they're looking for a shared experience.
Oh, you are?
You know?
Yeah.
Is Facebook down too?
Yeah.
It really shows how intertwined these platforms have become in our collective consciousness.
And then you've got this added layer of WhatsApp.
Oh, yeah.
We saw the WhatsApp down. Is WhatsApp down creeping into the mix?
Yeah.
Was the whole Meta family about to go offline for a siesta?
Right. Well, WhatsApp, even though it is also a Meta product, it often operates on a slightly different infrastructure.
Yep.
So this means it can be impacted by the same issues, or it can experience completely separate outages.
Wow.
It makes you realize how complex these systems are and how easily that complexity can lead to these disruptions.
It really is like a digital domino effect.
It is.
One platform wobbles and everyone's holding their breath wondering what else might topple over.
Totally.
But before we dive deeper into that, let's take a closer look at some of the less common, more technical searches that popped up, because I think they offer some clues about what might have actually caused this whole fiesta of fails.
It's it's like peeking behind the curtain, right?
Yeah.
Those less common searches, the ones that delve into the technical side,
right?
They give us a glimpse into how this stuff actually works.
Totally. And I mean, buried amongst all the is Instagram down cries for help?
Yeah.
We saw searches like query error Facebook and what does query error mean on Facebook? I'm no tech whiz, but even I could sense there's a deeper story there.
Yeah.
So what exactly are query errors?
Okay, so...
And what do they tell us about what might have gone wrong?
Imagine you're trying to order a coffee.
Okay.
You tell the barista what you want, but instead of your latte, you get an error message. Sorry, we can't process your request right now.
Oh.
That's essentially what a query error is.
Okay.
It's a breakdown in communication between you, the user, and the system that's supposed to deliver what you asked for.
So it's not just the lights going out. It's more like a miscommunication within the system.
Exactly. And analyzing these query errors can help engineers understand where that breakdown occurred.
Oh, interesting.
Was it a problem with the database, a server overload? Or could it be something more sinister, like a deliberate attempt to disrupt the system from within?
Now we're talking digital detective work here.
Right.
But before we go full-on cybersecurity thriller on this thing, let's talk about the real-world impact of all of this. I mean, it's easy to laugh at the memes and the collective panic, but these outages have consequences.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
We tend to think of the internet as this like abstract entity, but it's deeply intertwined with our daily lives.
Yeah.
Businesses rely on Instagram for marketing and sales.
Oh, yeah.
Artists and creators use it to showcase their work and build communities.
It's true.
And for many people, it's a primary means of staying connected with their loved ones.
Totally.
So when these platforms go down, it disrupts those connections. It impacts livelihoods.
Right.
And it can even create feelings of isolation and anxiety.
It's true. Like, think about all those searches for Instagram story. For some people, that might just mean a missed opportunity to connect with friends.
Right.
But for a small business owner relying on Instagram to promote their products, that downtime can translate to like real financial losses.
Absolutely. And then there's the emotional impact too.
Yeah.
That simple search, something went wrong, Instagram.
Yeah.
Reveals a sense of helplessness.
Yeah.
You know, a feeling of being disconnected from a world that's increasingly online.
Right.
Imagine relying on WhatsApp to communicate with family overseas, only to be met with silence. These outages really highlight how vulnerable we can be when the technology we depend on fails.
It is unsettling, isn't it? This realization.
It is.
That something as simple as posting a picture or sending a message can be disrupted by forces beyond our control.
Right.
It makes you wonder, like, what can we do about it?
Yeah.
Do we just accept this as the new normal?
That's the million-dollar question.
Yeah.
And I think it's one that deserves careful consideration.
Yeah.
While we can't completely eliminate the risk of outages, there are steps we can take to mitigate their impact.
Like what?
For businesses, that might mean diversifying their marketing channels.
Okay.
Or having contingency plans in place for communication. For individuals, it could be as simple as being mindful of our dependence on these platforms and like cultivating offline connections as well.
So it's like having a backup plan for your digital life, just in case the main system goes offline.
Yeah, and recognizing that while these platforms offer incredible opportunities for connection and creativity, they also come with these inherent vulnerabilities.
Right.
We can't control when or why they fail.
Right.
But we can control how we respond to those failures.
And maybe find a little humor.
Oh, absolutely.
In the midst of all the chaos. I mean, the internet's reaction to this outage wasn't all doom and gloom.
Yeah.
I mean, we saw some pretty hilarious memes pop up.
For sure.
Poking fun at our collective dependence on Instagram.
Humor is often a coping mechanism.
Yeah.
A way to process the frustration and anxiety.
That's true.
And in a way, those memes serve as a reminder that we're all in this together.
Totally.
We're all susceptible to the whims of the internet.
Yeah, we are.
And sometimes the best way to deal with that is to laugh at ourselves.
Right.
And the absurdity of it all.
Speaking of absurdity, remember how we were talking about those query error searches? Well, it turns out they might point to something a bit more intentional than just the simple technical glitch.
Hey?
And that's where our deep dive takes a turn into the world of digital espionage.
Okay, so internet sleuths. We've reached like the climax of our reggaeton-infused deep dive.
Oh, yeah.
We dug through the data. We felt the collective pulse of the internet. We even explored those like real-world consequences of a digital world gone dark.
Right.
But now things are about to get a little bit spicy.
I like where this is going.
Remember those query error searches we keep coming back to?
I do.
They might just hold the key to unmasking like the culprit.
Oh, wow.
Behind this whole Instagram blackout of 2024.
It's like in a good reggaeton song, you know?
Yeah.
Just when you think, you know, the rhythm, the beat drops and takes you in a whole new direction.
Totally.
And in this case, that direction leads us to the possibility of something way more intriguing than just a simple technical glitch.
You're talking about malware, aren't you? Like someone deliberately messing with Instagram systems?
The evidence definitely suggests that as a possibility.
So instead of like a miscommunication, it's more like someone deliberately jamming the signal.
Exactly. And when we consider the scale of this outage, the fact that it impacted multiple meta platforms and those query error searches, the possibility of like a targeted malware attack becomes a lot more plausible.
Hold on, I need to like catch my breath.
Take a minute.
This is starting to feel like a scene straight out of a cyber thriller.
I know.
But who would do such a thing?
Yeah.
Why target Instagram?
Well, the motives behind cyber attacks, they can be complex and multifaceted.
So give me some examples.
Sometimes it's about financial gain.
Hackers holding systems hostage for a ransom. Other times it's driven by political agendas, disrupting communications or spreading misinformation. And then there's the element of cyber warfare, nation states kind of flexing their digital muscles and testing the vulnerabilities of their adversaries.
So it could be anything.
Yeah.
From like a lone wolf hacker looking for notoriety to a full-blown government operation.
Precisely. And unraveling those motives often requires like meticulous digital forensics.
Okay.
Tracing the origins of the attack, analyzing the specific code used to disrupt the systems.
It's like detective work.
It is.
Only the clues are hidden within lines of code instead of fingerprints. Mind officially blown, but beyond like the technical complexities and the whodunit intrigue, this whole situation raises some bigger questions, doesn't it?
For sure.
It makes you realize how vulnerable we are in this like digital age.
Our lives, our businesses, our connections, all increasingly reliant on these systems that can be disrupted, manipulated, even held hostage by unseen forces.
It's a stark reminder that the internet, for all its wonders and possibilities, is still a relatively young and evolving ecosystem. And like any ecosystem, it has vulnerabilities, predators, and unexpected storms.
It's almost poetic, isn't it?
It is.
We spend so much time navigating this digital landscape, building our virtual worlds, connecting with each other across continents, and yet it can all be thrown into chaos by a few lines of malicious code.
It really highlights the importance of cybersecurity awareness, both at the individual and the organizational level. We need to be more vigilant about protecting our data, strengthening our digital defenses, and understanding those potential threats that are lurking in the digital shadows.
It's a bit like learning to dance.
It is.
In the midst of a digital hurricane, isn't it?
Finding our balance, adapting to the changing rhythms, and maybe even finding a way to enjoy the wild ride.
And maybe that's the key takeaway from all of this. We can't control the storms that come our way. But we can choose how we respond to them.
I like that.
We can panic. We can despair. Or we can take a deep breath, learn from the experience, and keep dancing.
Well said. So, to all our listeners out there, next time you find yourself facing a digital blackout, remember the lessons we've uncovered in this deep dive.
Absolutely.
Be patient. Be resourceful. And maybe even put on some reggaeton to help you weather the storm.
Love it.
After all the internet, like a good dance beat always finds a way to come back online.
That's right.
Until then, stay curious,
stay
informed, and keep exploring.
Then keep dancing.
This fascinating, ever-evolving world of the internet.